FaZe H1ghSky was banned recently. A new Legends pack is likely coming into the game soon, as well as two different items that are very likely going to be unvaulted based off of recent things that have been found about them. Alright guys, welcome back to another Fortnite video, and in this one, it is time to go over some update news. There hasn't been a ton of update news recently, but today there's been a bunch of interesting stuff to go over, so we're going to pack it into one single video. Going to be a ton of fun going over various different things. So if you enjoy it, as always, you can use code TheLlamaSir in the item shop to support me. I appreciate it a ton. I love helping you guys out. And on top of that, be sure to hit that like button down below and also leave a comment of what pickaxe are you guys using right now. For me, it's the, what is it? The Skull Sickle. I forgot the name of it, but it's yeah, that one with like Skull Trooper that released a long time ago. It hasn't released back again in a long time. But yeah, guys, without further ado, let's jump on into it with the news. And this doesn't really have to do with 9.20, which is still coming. We'll talk a little bit about that at the end of the video. But this news should be like overall news, like going after 9.20, and should be coming probably in a couple weeks or something. I don't know. But first of all, let's start off with something pretty interesting, and that is the return of a couple of different weapons. Obviously, the heavy shotgun, we've talked about that a bunch, so we won't spend too much time on that, but there was recently found a change to it that's pointing towards it returning again. And on top of that, there's also another weapon we need to talk about that's going to be returning as well, very likely. So getting into it with the heavy shotgun, obviously you guys know that it was in the loading screen. That's pretty common. We've talked about that a bunch before. However, did you notice that if you go into creative right now and pick up the heavy shotgun, take a look at the sights on it. You will notice that it's actually green. Now, the reason that that in fact is interesting is because it used to be red. So with that being said, they added a little bit of an update to this item, which is just even more confirmation that it's very likely going to be returning in one of the future updates. Maybe it's already in 9.20 when you're watching this video, but in case it isn't, yeah, that's a very interesting change. It also reminds me sort of the Stormwing change that referenced that the Stormwings were going to be coming back in that LTM. Now, on top of that, guys, keeping it going here with the next thing, there is another item that got a change recently that hasn't been referenced like at all. This is the first thing about it that points towards it very likely returning. And can you guess what item that is? You know what? Leave a comment down below right now. Try and guess which item is going to be returning based off of this info. 3, 2, 1. Comment right now. The item that is going to be likely returning is the old Revolver. That is right, guys. For some reason, the Revolver actually got a recent change. That means that it very likely could be coming back from the vault. Now, this changed thanks to Lightning Splash on Reddit for pointing it out, but if you take a look at the Revolver's stats currently, you will notice that they were actually buffed from how they were previously, which is very odd because, again, the item isn't in the game currently except in creative. So if you take a look at it right now, obviously it's 1.2 for the fire rate, and for the reload time, 2.0. This is a buff from the older version, which had it apparently at 0.9 for the fire rate and also 2.2 for the reload time. So obviously the newer version is a bit changed. And actually, I'm not sure if that's a buff for the fire rate. I'm a little bit confused about like how those numbers, you know, work out to how fast the weapon actually shoots. So take that with a grain of salt. Maybe it's buffed or nerfed. I'm not exactly sure. But either way, it's changed, which is very odd, and again points towards it likely returning in the near future. So you guys excited for that? The old Revolver was definitely an interesting type of weapon. So, you know, I'm excited to see it maybe come back in the near future. But keeping it going here, guys, let's keep talking about some interesting stuff. And the new Legends pack. This is something that is bound to happen very soon. I'm not exactly sure when the previous Legends packs came out, but taking a look at the previous Legends pack, or sorry, packs, gives us some clues about what the next Legends pack will indeed be for this season. Because once they added the Legends pack, once they started adding them, I think it was the Frozen Legends pack back in Season 7, and then after that in Season 8, the previous season, we had the Lava Legends pack, and then now in this season, we're waiting to see what the new Legends pack is going to be. But judging from those previous packs, can pretty much predict what it's going to be. So looking at those, again, you can tell that the Frozen Legends pack was released around the time that, you know, like Polar Peak was around and all that crazy stuff happened with like the winter stuff. And there was a lot of themes around like frozen things. So it made a ton of sense that the Legends pack would be themed around the theme of the season. And thus we got the Frozen Legends pack. After that, then we got the Lava Legends pack, which, as you guys can obviously tell, relates to the theme of Season 8 very well. Obviously, obviously the theme of the volcano and the volcano then erupting at the end of Season 8, and overall a lot of stuff having to do with lava. I think we also got the floor is lava LTM, but you can tell that there was a big theme around, you know, lava, and that was then reflected in the Legends pack. So with that being said, if it continues to follow that trend, the Season 9 Legends pack will very, very likely be like the future Legends pack, or maybe the Neo Legends pack based off Neo Tilted and stuff like that. But it is very, very likely that the theme of it will be like future theme. Now, obviously, we haven't gotten the skins quite yet to look at, but I'm assuming that they'd be very similar to like Vendetta, Rocks, maybe Sentinel, maybe a mix of something like that, or along those lines. It would make a ton of sense because, again, the theme of this season seems to be that the future is here, you know, futuristic type skins and stuff like that. So I'm definitely expecting that to be the new Legends pack, and I'm excited to see what exactly it is. Keeping it going here, guys, though, this part of info or news info is pretty interesting because it has to do with FaZe again. FaZe has had a lot of stuff to talk about with them going on recently, and this one is pretty interesting as well. So this has to do with HighSky, not Tfue. Obviously the Tfue stuff has gone down. It's still going down a little bit, but it's sort of like, you know, fizzled out a bit. But as of right now, stuff around FaZe HighSky has been pretty interesting, and the most recent bit of info about this is that his Twitch account has been officially banned or suspended. Obviously it's hard to tell if it's been, you know, like permanently banned or only temporarily banned, but if you go there right now, you go to his account, it says sorry, unless you've got a time machine, that content is unavailable, which usually means they're suspended or banned. So yeah, pretty interesting stuff right there. Now the reason for this is obviously because of the recent, you know, some stuff about him supposedly not being 13 or older, which a lot of things, you know, you have to be 13 or older to use them, and I think Twitch is one of them. The minimum age to, you know, stream on there or have an account, I think, I'm not 100% sure, but I think it's 13. That's what it usually is for most. And then like if you're between the age of 13 and 18, you usually need parental permission. I think it's something along those lines. Again, not an expert, but if he is indeed like 11 or 12 as it was rumored to be, and as it seemed to be, judging from like, I think his parents put out a tweet a long time ago that seemed to be like he was around like 11 or 12 currently, you know, it makes sense that he wouldn't be allowed to have a Twitch account if it's against their terms of service. So with that being said, overall it's a very, you know, odd situation. I never really understood what FaZe had to gain from signing somebody so young when, you know, all of the other people they sign are obviously usually adults around like 18, 20, 21, stuff like that. So them signing HighSky sort of came out of nowhere in the first place, and it was a little bit confusing, and I don't really get why they would sign somebody who isn't even old enough to be competing in tournaments or be on Twitch and stuff like that. So who knows if he'll get his account back when he's, you know, 13. It's difficult to say as of right now, but it's an interesting situation overall. Definitely something to talk about for sure. But moving on here, guys, to the next thing I want to talk about. This has to do with that recent competitive AMA. You may have heard a bunch about this AMA previously, but there's one thing I want to focus on and talk about in more detail with you guys that I think is probably, you know, for most people, even if you're not into competitive, I think this is the most relevant piece of info because it has to do with potential seasonal rewards that you could get by playing competitive, and they could be given out based on how well you do in the competitive modes during a given season. So with that being said, going to take a look at the AMA, there was a question about like the future of Arena. Are there any plans for like prizes and stuff like that? And one of the responses was, we are currently working on a refresh of Arena with an emphasis around providing more high quality, exciting matches and tournaments with meaningful stakes. Hype will become more like a currency which you use to enter tournaments and participate in higher difficulty arena matches, with top overall performers for the season represented on a leaderboard. And then the most interesting part about that, seasonal rewards are on the roadmap as well for future iterations of Arena. So yeah, guys, it looks like we will be getting rewards, like possible items maybe for how well we do in Fortnite competitive. That would definitely be super cool. I'd be really down for, you know, playing competitive and having like special items to represent your in-game rank of how far you made it in a given season. That would be a ton of fun because like as of right now, there's not really that much of an incentive once you get fairly high up. I'd be excited to see like what type of items they bring out, whether it be like a pickaxe, a backbling, stuff like that. We'll have to wait and see. They do say future iterations of Arena, so maybe that's like season 12 or something like that. Maybe it's pretty pretty far off. But yeah, keeping it going here then with the final thing I want to talk about. That is, you know, update 9.20. Where is it? Is it going to be coming soon? If the update is already out, you guys probably already know about this stuff. But I'm expecting it to be Thursday. Obviously, it didn't release today, which is Wednesday. So, you know, it'd have to be Thursday. Unless the challenges for, like, the regular Thursday challenges, the weekly challenges get delayed, it would almost have to be this Thursday. So we'll have to wait and see about that. I'll probably update you guys on my Twitter account at TheLlamaSir if you want to follow me over there. I'm also wondering if I should post more on Instagram. Let me know down below if I should do that. But yeah, guys, 9.20 should be pretty interesting. And without further ado, guys, that is going to be it for today's video. Hope you enjoyed it. Be sure to hit that subscribe button, and let's jump into the outro.